You hear my dog?
Yeah.
I said my dog's fully a vegetarian, right?
Mm.
But that's actually not true. Like my mom like forcefully gives him meat, and I don't care enough to like stop her.
From the spiritual sky, let your soul fly free. Let your mind find me.
Devo Bhava, Pitradevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava, Yanyana Madhyani Brahmani.
Love you, so let me love you. So my mind, welcome to my mind.
Yeah, I told everyone my dog's fully a vegetarian, right?
Did you on the podcast?
No, on my Instagram, I'd
Oh.
like posted. I said my dog's a vegetarian, and I tried so hard to maintain that. Actually, he can very easily be a vegetarian. Maybe occasionally, like give him an egg or something. But that's not because he really needs it. It's only because he like really wants it. But yeah, my mom just feels too bad for him, so she gives him. Anytime they eat, she gives him. So and I tried stopping them.
Your
but-
mom's still regularly eating like meat and stuff.
not regularly. Like they've toned down a lot. Like maybe once in a couple weeks or once in a week, just a little bit daily. Which is very which is a bit stark difference from how we were before.
Yeah.
Almost like everyday eating. We were basically carnivores.
Yeah, my mom's kind of ramped up her eating of meat.
Wait, wasn't she vegetarian? Didn't she turn vegetarian at one point?
Yeah, and then I don't know, and then at one point she stopped, kind of. She only eats like chicken now, and then fish. My parents eat a lot of fish, kind of. Probably say like once every 2 weeks they'll eat fish.
Wait, why did they go back though? They just couldn't help themselves?
Yeah, I think honestly it was like that period of when we started eating a little bit, like.
So they lost their conviction.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that's the dangerous thing about going back on your own convictions.
Yeah. The worst part is my brother's eating like beef and stuff now, which is not
my
great.
God.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
yeah.
Dude, that's such a big thing is to not go back on your word because they see you and they see you so convinced. Even if you're some sort of like holy divine being and it stops being applicable to you, nothing matters to you anymore. Even if you reach that state, I feel like you should never never do these things.
Just a bad example.
Yeah, really bad. I mean, look, that's very obviously what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, now you should try to reconvince them somehow.
Oh God.
Now they'll think you're maybe a little bit of a hypocrite, but you have to say, oh, I just was trying to understand or something, which is true. You're trying to understand.
Yeah.
I was going to say earlier that if anybody makes the excuse, oh, no, I eat meat because it's necessary for the body and stuff, dude, immediately just know that they're probably like the biggest idiots. Like straight off, if anybody says, oh, I'm eating meat because my body needs it, you see, that is 100% a lie. Right? They know they're lying. It's not because their body needs it. It's because they're so desirous. They're burning with desire. They have no self-control. That is the actual reason. Like, I mean, now it's proven because now that this whole vegan wave started in the past, decades, we have like bodybuilders and athletes at a very, very high level. Who are fully vegan and fully vegetarian and things like that. So where is the point? This point, I've never understood this point where they say, no, the body needs it. Who is coming up with these facts?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like these scientists, right? They just fully analyze, what's in meat. Oh, it's like the 12 amino acids or 12% protein and like vitamin A and magnesium and calcium. They just look at it like that.
I think a lot of it comes from, like studying like most of these vegetarians and vegans. who, by the way, probably are doing this like in a very wrong way, and then they're getting like
in America, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
there's no
and
culture
and
there.
they're low on all these vitamins and minerals or whatever, and then they're like, oh well, they can't work, and like it's just because they've been eating fake meat, disgusting products, and they have no conception of what a good vegetarian meal is.
That's also true, but it's also true that these scientists, right? Like you can say maybe the Western scientists, because the scientists of India in the past, at least, didn't have this very superficial view of things. So they're analyzing this at a very superficial level in terms of the elements, what is in this, as in the physical composition of it. They have no other experience of it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's all just chemicals and the elements, just the earth in its different forms.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you analyze it like that, it has 12% calcium, 30% magnesium, or whatever. I'm just making this up, by the way. And they eat this. Of course, they're going to think it's good for the physical body because the body needs these things. But they have no understanding that you're not the body. For that's like a very far off thing from that for them, And even in terms of like a mental thing, they haven't gone very far. That influences the mind. They haven't. I doubt they have any concept of this. To them, it's actually the other way. Oh, because it has like 12% magnesium and that has like an antidepressant quality to it, so it's actually good for you.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of like moronic understanding. It's because of these people, because obviously you can say the world, but it originated from this Western ideology of like a fully rationalistic, they say rationalistic, but they have no idea what that really means. Fully scientific, as in what is the material science, because even that science, it doesn't incorporate the entire thing. So this material, you can say material, this fully materialistic view of things, that is obviously the biggest influence on people, right? Like if you ask your parents, for example, maybe not your parents because they're influenced by you, but someone else, why do you do this and not something else? They'll say, oh, no, because medical science says this.
Yeah.
It says this is good for you. To strictly limit yourself to the chemical composition of a certain food. Oh, no, this has 12% this, 13% this has iron, this has this. That is not considering the entire thing. Firstly, forget the spiritual aspect of it. That's very, very far off for them.
Yeah.
But even if you consider just the mental aspect, that the food you eat, and this is the yogic philosophy, is that the food you eat becomes, the subtle part of the food you eat becomes your mind. It's literally your mind. Your mind is made up of the things you eat. It has more than that, but a big part of it is made up of the food you eat. So if you're eating trash, your mind becomes trash. Your mind becomes toxic. I mean, and is there any doubt in that when you look at the world and you analyze their diet, and their diets are trash and they're trash and they're attracted to trash and making the world trash.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. There's not much more to it. But yeah, that is a very, very, that is the, dude, immediately if you see someone saying that, just call them out. That they say, no, what, won't I die? Or something like that. Like, dude, you won't die in a million years. Even a vegetarian diet is so, we're going into a different territory here. It's very strenuous on the body. A vegetarian diet can be.
Yeah.
You see, what is the norm in people's understanding and what is the actual truth is like very, very far off.
Yeah.
Like we've been sending our songs to different people on Submit Hub.
Yeah.
To get recognized, hopefully. And like half these people are, more than half are like rejecting us.
Oh, yeah.
Rejecting me. But a couple of them I think I had something nice to say. That one guy did. And that one guy, that one guy really did see the actual thing. Because it was, where is the opinion going from, no, your vocals are really, really good, really, really strong, to what these people are saying, no, your vocals aren't good at all. That's like a very far thing. There's no in-between ground there.
Yeah.
No, your vocals are somewhat good, but it can be better.
Yeah.
No, it's like two opposite extreme opinions.
Yeah.
And which is what I'd always said. I said, dude, people are gonna either hate this or they're gonna love this. There's not going to be an in between.
Yeah.
You know, I always knew this fact because this dichotomy between, you know, recognizing what's good and what people accept as good is to give you an example, if you listen to the mainstream music today, you know, for me it's unbearable to listen to mainstream music. But one thing I noticed that when I do hear it somewhat is that they all sound basically the same. Have you noticed that?
I mean, vocally.
Yeah, vocally, especially vocally. Even like the style, the chords, everything. It's like things you've heard a million times before.
Yeah.
Rarely something different comes out.
Yeah.
But vocally, they all sound the same. All the guys sound the same. They have this weird style to them. I don't know what style they did, but you can barely make out, oh, this is the big people, I guess you can make out because they're probably well known. But like anyone else in that other category, you can barely make them out from each other.
Yeah.
You know, they all sound the same. The women too. The women even more so, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say the women more, personally.
I was trying to imitate them, but I couldn't even imitate them. It's a very specific sort of style that they have. You know what I'm talking about, right? It kind of reminds me of that. What's that sort of like fat guy?
Louis Capaldi.
Like really,
yeah.
Yeah, Louis. Yeah, exactly, Louis Capaldi. I thought there's. I'm sure there's
don't
more
fat shame the guy.
There's more fat guys than him, I'm sure. But yeah,
no,
he's
I
the
was
most
thinking
broken.
about Louis Capaldi as soon as he started saying this. It's like this weird quality at the end of like lines, it's like the pronunciation.
Yeah, dude, but like, have you noticed? Almost everyone sounds like Louis Capaldi. So sort of. I mean, he has a more distinct style, I guess. That's why he's probably a little bit more famous. But
yeah,
they're all sort of imitating each other.
yeah. There's
They have nothing unique about them. There's like no quality of uniqueness to them.
yeah.
Which is why like someone like Billie Eilish was sort of refreshing when she came out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But now the problem with Billie Eilish, yeah, I'm criticizing Billie Eilish. Not criticizing, but it's my thing against her, is that when she first came out, it was so fresh, it was so new. But now she's come out with a lot more albums, a lot more songs, and it doesn't feel like she's evolved much.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of her style.
I'd agree with that.
Sort of like very rooted to her sort of style. But when she first came out, my God, that album was such a refreshing thing in mainstream pop. I wonder if it was like I think, yeah, it's probably true that it was a lot easier for people to accept Billie Eilish than it probably is in my case. You know, I'm not sure why. I mean, that falsetto thing, I can see people aren't used to that at all. It's something very, very different. But you know, normally, I mean, it sounds like normal. You can, you know, a throwback to like the 90s or something before that. You know?
Yeah. I think like the big thing with these like more mainstream guys on Submit Hub is that like we don't really utilize any of those like nowadays, like in vocals, like people will like layer vocals so much. Like there'll be like one layer of like literally like I've heard about this like thing where they just like do a monotone run, and then like on top of that they'll do like another, I don't know, but there's just a lot of layers.
That's probably why they all sound the same.
Yeah,
honestly,
pretty much, yeah.
But that one guy did see the truth, but he still didn't accept it because he said that's not our thing.
Yeah.
We don't post songs like that. Fine, but at least he had a nice opinion. That was a fair opinion. The rest, dude, literally, I see them as like idiots. You know, the ones that are like so dismissive of it. Where is being dismissive and where is the actual thing? You know, those people need drugs. You know, people say, no, you don't need drugs to enjoy good music. I'm fully in agreement with that, actually. You know, I don't need drugs to enjoy good music, but you might.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So rooted in their own thing. Like those people, I don't know them, but, you know, if you want to do a check to see if I'm right, you know, about this, is that you'll go, just see the songs they share. They'll all be like pretty much the same thing.
I'm sure.
This sort of like mainstream pop thing.
Yeah.
Sort of like that auto-tuney sounds. You know, you've heard the story of J.K. Rowling and how how she took Harry Potter, sent Harry Potter to many people. This is probably the story. Don't quote me. It's either J.K. Rowling or Walt Disney or someone.
No,
someone,
it's definitely
it's-
J.K. Rowling that this happened to. That's like the famous one.
Yeah. Okay, so J.K. Rowling, took Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, I think, and showed it to like many publishers, and nobody would have it. Oh, it's just like a bad children's story, a bad fairy tale sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
Until somebody did take the chance, and how it like changed the world. Really,
Yeah.
it brought some wonder, it brought some magic into this world.
Yeah.
That's something very, very special.
I think we've,
See,
we've,
very-
we've talked up Harry Potter twice now, I think, on this podcast.
No, this is the first time.
No,
Other time
Didn't we talk about it last time?
No, that was like separately, like off podcast. I said this.
Are you sure?
Like
When we were talking
you
about
remember
Kantara, we didn't mention Harry Potter at all. I think.
oh
I
yeah,
think
we did, but
yeah.
not about J.K. Rowling.
Yeah,
not about
no,
J.K.
it was about the
Rowling.
movie.
Yeah. Now see, where are those two perspectives, right? One is that Harry Potter is like a really bad children's fairy tale sort of book,
Mhm.
right? And where's this other thing? Oh, it's so wonderful, it's so magical, it can change the world.
Mhm.
Two wildly different perspectives. That's sort of the way we're also operating under those two perspectives. One will see it as, wow, this is really, really good. Or the other will see it as, oh, like, what is this? It's trash. They might see it as trash, honestly.
Mhm.
So weird. I always sort of predicted this, to be fair. I always knew, people are going to hate this or they're going to love it. We just haven't. There have been people that have loved it. Sadia said she loved it. I mean, the regular folk
Mhm.
that love it. The ones that know you.
Yeah.
People complain, oh, I'm not happy. The world is so hard.
Mm.
That is all the result of their inability to live in a proper understanding of life.
Mm.
A person that lives in a proper understanding, he'll be totally peaceful.
Yeah.
He'll be almost always joyous. These are the qualities of a man who lives in understanding. It's such just look at diet. It's such a very simple thing to understand.
Yeah.
And even a simple thing to live, actually. But why is it so hard? Why are so many people unable to live like that?
Mm.
It's because they have no self-control.
Yeah.
And their
Yeah.
desire overwhelms them. And then they make other excuses. No, I need this, or no. Or then they start to blame you, actually, that you're living incorrectly.
Yeah.
No, you're living wrong. We're living right. Us being trashy pigs.
Our
That's the
ancestors
way to
were,
live.
were doing this thousands of years ago.
I've never heard that one.
You haven't? They say that
But-
all the time.
I mean, our ancestors lived very nicely compared to.
No, I mean, we're
What
talking about the
they-
Westerners.
Yeah. Even there, they lived pretty.
Yeah, but
I guess
I
nicely.
mean, that's like one of the most common arguments from a meat eater is that, oh, my ancestors ate meat, so.
I mean, the thing with meat, the way that your ancestors eat meat and the way you eat meat are
Yeah.
two different things. Your ancestors were, or even maybe if you go back far enough, our ancestors were part of the food cycle. They talk about the food cycle. They were part of that cycle. Now, human beings are no longer part of that cycle. Of like you see in nature, the trees, the plants overgrow. Then you have the grazers, right? You have the herbivores that like graze on that and like clean that up. And then to clean them up, you have the carnivores. So everybody, as long as you're in that cycle in the wild, everybody has a role. Everybody has a role. When you're even the human beings had a role, but human beings have evolved to such a degree that cycle is no longer applicable to us. Where is that cycle living in harmony with nature, and now us being capitalistic like pigs?
Yeah.
That killing millions and millions of animals just to fill pockets. It's so far off. It's so far off the things what they're doing now to hunting an animal for your survival, for your family survival, fully relying on the forest.
Yeah.
Like how these people lived. In fact, if you watch Kantara, this aspect was going on, but yet I didn't feel that angry.
Mm.
You know, like where they were hunting animals, I felt a little bit angry, but I didn't feel that angry because that's how they live. They live in harmony with the forest.
Yeah.
You know, at least that's how it was. And like these Amazonians or any of the old tribal traditions,
Mm.
tribal cultures, they lived in harmony with the forest. They revered the forest. They worshiped the forest. They worshiped the forest spirits, and they saw these things as a gift to them. You know, and it is a gift to them when you depend on it for your survival. And now, where we've evolved to such a degree, we can grow what we want. You know, we can eat what we want. The abundance is like astounding. If you look at it in like a balanced perspective, if you look at it in a greedy perspective, then nothing's ever enough.
Mhm.
What these people are doing, it's never enough for them. You know, if you become, for example, if you become a vegetarian, if you become a balanced person, then you'll see how much is in excess. You know, and yet all the talk in this world is it's not enough, or we don't have enough. You know, there's millions of people suffering because they don't have enough. Half the reason, not half, all the reason is this sort of capitalist thinking. We'll just plunder the earth for our greed, for our money.
Yeah.
Who cares about the animals' feelings? They'll say.
Yeah.
What idiots, dude! What such a disgusting way to think. These people, honestly, they deserve to be killed.
Oh.
It's a pretty big statement. No, really, I get so angry, but it's such a disgusting perspective, right? Like that perspective that, oh, we'll plunder the earth, we'll plunder everything for our greed, for our money fill our pockets.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, such a disgusting thing. See, that is the state of this world, is that we don't see that as something bad.
Yeah, not at all.
As I mean, we do, but like the people, that people should be burning with anger.
Yeah, honestly.
Burning, because it's a crime against all of humanity. It's a crime against the planet Earth. It's a crime against God. End of. If there was some like righteous ruler, you know, none of these people would survive. This world would become suddenly, what is the state of the world? Very, very, very strict.
Yeah.
Very, very strict, because that is what's needed. And that's why all these morons, especially in the West, but I mean, the West is like the home of this ideology of being free, doing whatever you want,
Yeah.
even if it's a crime. They don't know it's a crime.
Yeah.
See, this is another problem with human-made law.
Yeah.
What is actually a crime is no longer a crime, and other stupid things, they've turned it into a crime. Like, how does anybody see this? And they're cutting down the Amazon because they're all part of that cycle. You know, the politicians, the lawyers, everyone, they're all part of that cycle.
Yeah.
So they don't see anything. They don't see that as bad.
To
because
be
if they-
fair, most people, I think, if you polled them about the Amazon rainforest today, would say that it's a bad thing.
Yeah, so why haven't they done anything about it?
I don't know.
They've waited till like 20-25% of it is gone. Maybe, I don't know the exact statistics, but maybe more than that. But some huge amount. Even if you go through Google Maps, right, and you look at the Amazon forest, you'll see huge spaces that have been chopped down.
Mm-hmm.
Who is doing this and who's supporting this? You know, they might say it's so easy for us to say because we're not part of it. Yeah, and thank God we're not part of it. But even if I was part of it, you know, I don't think my heart would allow something like that.
No,
Even if it was making me a millionaire,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
you'd have to be incredibly morally bankrupt.
Yeah.
Every human being has stains for sure, but a bigger part of you, whatever is a bigger part of you, is to speak out. You know,
Yeah.
all just terrible people, godless people. No appreciation. There's no appreciation for God. There's nothing. You know, I was doing yoga today, right?
Mm.
And it was so beautiful. Like, yoga is for me to start off my day. And, you know, 7 in the morning, I go up on my roof and the sky, and then the sun will just be out, you know, and the birds will be singing. It's such a beautiful thing. Like, I was doing yoga, you know, always when I do yoga, and I look, right, I just look around and everything I see, like literally everything I look at, like I look at the sky, I look at the trees, I look at everything. And everything just seems so perfect, you know? So heavy. Like, you can look at different parts of the sky. Like, I was looking at one part of the sky there and I'm like, wow, that's so beautiful. You know, the cloud is just like shaded by the light there. And then I look at another part and it's a rain cloud, you know? And then I look at another part and there's no clouds, or maybe the clouds are moving. And like, everything you see, you know, is so beautiful, so perfect, so magnificent, you know? And I was so in love with God, and I was just like, you know, it was just in awe of the entire thing. And really, that's how it is to live, you know, in God. When they say living in tune with God, that is how to live in tune with God. And that's what God wants as well. God wants to be appreciated like that,
Yeah.
you know, for this beauty. And this is the extent of the beauty. You know, this is just a small glimpse, the small example is that just in those few minutes, I was looking at different parts of the sky, and everything I was seeing was like heaven, was filled with beauty,
Yeah.
you know? And that's just one aspect. And where is that to this life, my God, how they
God.
live?
Yeah. No comparison.
Like pigs, they're pigs. They're pigs, and they might be, you know, the way pigs they slaughter in their next lives.
Yeah.
If there's, you know, I was thinking if there's obviously like divine justice, you know, because God is the ultimate judge. And I was thinking this, there would be nothing greater. The ultimate form of justice is that you bear, that obviously exists, you know, karma. But to this extent is that for example, the very animals you're inflicting pain on, the very animals you're exploiting, the nature you're exploiting, you become that in your next life. So you know how that feels.
Yeah.
There can be no greater. And that's what they say in some of the scriptures, that this is what happens. And I mean, obviously, I don't know for sure, but I was thinking that would be like the perfect form of justice.
Yeah.
God's justice is perfect. It doesn't have to be like that, but I was thinking how perfect that would be, that these pigs that are killing the pigs now become the pigs,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
So they know how it feels
Yeah.
to live in absolute fear, you know, in
Chained up.
those terrible conditions. You know, like what is still revered in this culture, in all cultures, really, you know, what is actually revered is like this holiness, right? What is like sacred, what human beings consider sacred. And I was thinking that if this sacred, like now it feels like such a minority, this thing,
Yeah.
you know, like great people, you know, people that are in tune with God. Such a minority, like 0.0001%. They keep going. And they feel very irrelevant almost to this world.
Yeah.
If you look at the mainstream culture, nobody takes them seriously and they're pretty irrelevant. But for thousands of years to have survived, and still, you know, to this day, what humans consider holy and sacred is these people and what they instituted, you know, in terms of the culture and the traditions, like the religions. You know, so that means sometime in the past, this must have been a very, very relevant and a very, very like major thing, major aspect of human society. Not like how it is now. That means at that time, these people were taken very, very seriously. This culture was what was the norm, you know, and people understood the value. No, this is how it is to live, actually. You know, not like we're not meant to be pigs. We're not meant to be animals. We're meant to live in appreciation of God and the universe and things like that. But now, over time, we can clearly see that's been lost. So that's what I was thinking, that sometime in the past, this must have been the actual overarching, the big culture, not a minority thing.
So would you'd only apply this to like Indian culture, right? Or would you also say
No, even the world, like all the cultures were very, very religious, right?
So you're saying even further back than like say Christianity?
Yeah. Always the sages and the wise people, the holy men, were the ones that were accorded the most respect. Now who's accorded the most respect?
Yeah.
It's the capitalists and the greedy pigs. Yeah,
so gross.
They're the ones accorded the most respect. See, people have just lost their vision. You know, like we can endlessly criticize this world, endlessly.
Yeah.
we can just keep going, but that's not a very good way, I think.
Mm.
Just to live, I just live in my own world. I'm very happy. But when I do encounter these things, it's unavoidable.
Mm.
I become like very, very angry, very, very, it's impossible not to
It
criticize them.
influences your life though, like so much. Like I was thinking
Yeah.
recently, like dude, like going shopping in the United States is like one of the worst experiences. Like compared
Why
to
is that?
compared to India, for example. Like India is great. You like go outside, you know, you're out in the world, and like sometimes it's like noisy maybe in India, but you like go down the street and stuff. It's like it's a decent experience. And in America, you like go to some desolate, you know, like huge like complex, you know, and then
A capitalist symbol.
yeah, literally, and it's just like this huge parking lot that like has absolutely no aesthetical value whatsoever, and then everybody who works in there hates you, basically hates their job, and then all the people who are
Yeah.
shopping are like just like super rude and annoyed, and then the things you're shopping for are like 99% of it is all garbage, and like dude, like living life, like you should be excited to go shopping. Like that should not be something that you're dreading. Like I dread it like almost every time because there's nothing of value in that experience really. Like you could find it maybe if you like really went for it, you know, but like it shouldn't be that much. Like these places should be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
beautiful, like
Dude, I don't think, honestly, you know, you're not alone in thinking that. I don't think what you're dreading is like the supermarket, actually.
Mm.
You know, like as in what is the essential thing? Oh, you're going shopping for fruits and vegetables. What you're dreading really is like the people and the culture.
yeah. I mean, but dude,
That's what you're-
the outside manifestation of like the place is also a reflection of the people.
I mean, that's fine. I'll tell you why I said that. It's the people. It's because I've had like very similar experiences here.
Yeah. Well, it's not.
I mean, you
perfect
don't
in
want to
India.
interact with like unpleasant people, and most of the people in this planet are unpleasant.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're very, you know, have these sort of disgusting perspectives. You know,
Yeah.
so you're that's a sort of you're soiling yourself. So I mean, I guess there's no avoiding that. But I've definitely noticed that it's not a pleasant experience per se to
Yeah.
go shopping. Even
Yeah.
here, even in India, it's not a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
What makes the experience pleasant, you know, is like the people.
Yeah.
You know, the people make it pleasant. If the people are unpleasant, the entire experience will be unpleasant.
Yeah.
So that's how it is here as well, dude. I don't think that's like just for you. It's like a universal thing, pretty much, because the people are disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, my experience of India, the people weren't bad. Although you have gotten, or I guess we both have gotten ripped off a few times. But like, other than that, the
Yeah.
people were pretty nice.
They're nice as long as they don't talk too much.
Mhm.
when they start talking, you know, because one thing about me is that, you know, I'm so friendly with people, they sort of take advantage of that at times.
The difference, though,
You know?
between like the negative aspect of the people in India and the difference in the people of like America is that like the people in America are callous.
In India, it's a little bit more subtle than that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And generally, the people here are a lot nicer in India
Oh yeah.
than there. It's almost like 90% of that, 99% of that, you can put it down to the meat eating.
Yeah.
That meat eating very like directly makes you callous. So it's a true thing. It like closes off your heart. I mean, you're engaging in crime. So
Yeah.
of course, you have to
Yeah.
close your heart off to indulge yourself in something like that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Meat eaters are definitely a lot more callous. But of course, you can't pin it all down to, you know, meat eating. There's that. There's many aspects
Oh yeah.
that than the I mean, trailing off to a different thing. Like in yoga, I was thinking, right?
Mm.
You know, in many religious traditions, all the yoga is like in India, a very religious thing, really.
Mm.
Of course, you know, it's Patanjali, it's the Yoga Sutras. The culture is very spiritual. The essence of it is very spiritual. But still, you know, because it is a physical thing, you know, it is also a spiritual thing, but on the surface, it's obviously a very spiritual thing, as opposed to like meditating, which also physically seems like a, you know, spiritual thing.
Mhm.
So a lot of like spiritual people are sort of like repulsed by this oh, it's just the body. Who cares about that
Mm-hmm.
sort of mentality?
Mm.
You know, I've noticed that a lot. It's there in many people.
Okay.
That why should you know, because the Prabhupada was saying, for example, that the start of spirituality is understanding that you're not the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so where is the point where you you know, I have to do yoga? He didn't say that, but I'm saying this, that where's the point where you do yoga or like observe these things to take care of the body?
Yeah. Yeah. I get the perspective.
But the thing is, like Iyengar, you know, like the yoga master Iyengar had said that yoga is no doubt like a preparation for the spiritual thing, to
Yeah.
receive the spiritual thing, but everything is also inherent in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not only a preparation; it also becomes that as well.
Yeah.
So there's the physical aspect of it, which, you know, I'd ignored personally for a long time.
Mm.
It's only the body, and I'm that's how I used to think. I'm master of the mind. Why do I need to care for the body? But then all these aspects, you know, in the yogic philosophy, I mean, and this is how it is also, is that there's the body, there's the mind, there's the intellect, and there's other more aspects to it that I can, you know, and then finally is the consciousness, is the Atman, you know, is the ultimate level of experience.
Yeah.
So each aspect, you know, when you're fully balanced in each thing, like purity of the body, purity of the mind, purity of the intellect, you know, and they talk about ethical health, moral health, conscientious health, you know, and all these different facets of health. And then finally is what they say is the divine health and the spiritual health. You know, if you do anything exclusive to the other aspects, like we spoke about these aspects, like the physical, the mental, the intellectual, but if you focus on only one of those things, you'll be incomplete, actually.
Yeah.
As in, you won't live the absolute highest you can. Like if you ignore, now obviously everybody's focused on the body, and I was also at one point, because I saw that the body, if you learn to control the body, you can become very, very happy.
Mm.
You know, in terms of the hormones and all these things, you know, being flooded, which is required. But then if you ignore the mind, then you become lost in that aspect.